Welcome back. Today, Bitcoin and crypto both are looking much, much better. As you can see, Bitcoin is right under $84,000. So since last night to now, we saw Bitcoin slowly rise up as Asia and Europe did decide to buy the dip, which is absolutely fantastic. I did mention today, this morning in the US, we could have a big catalyst, and that is what we're seeing right now. The US market, right before market bell, you can see everything is in the green. So obviously, things are looking good right now. And that catalyst is the inflation reading that just came out. CPI just came out. And in a shocking move, rather than show inflation tick upwards, inflation actually came in a little bit lower and ticked downwards. So we actually were at 3%, okay, and then we went down now to 2.8%. Okay, this is measuring February, by the way. So there were a lot of fears about inflation ticking upwards, 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 and the further inflation goes, the less chance Fed Chair Powell has to cut the Fed fund rate, because that would be counterintuitive. So what we want to see is the Fed fund rate go down, obviously, but the only way that could do that is if inflation goes down. And that's what we're seeing. Okay, we're going to have another reading tomorrow, but today the CPI was supposed to come in at 2.9%. It went and came out to a lower number at 2.8%, and that is fantastic. So because of this, the U.S. market looks like it wants to rise up today. You got like stocks like MicroStrategy that had a good day yesterday already. Wall Street was picking up, decided that it was oversold, and today in the pre-market, it is coming back up as well. And we will see if Bitcoin continues forward after the market bell rings. But as of right now, this is very positive. And if you're looking at the FOMC meeting that's going to happen in about a week, this has not changed. Basically, there's no chance right now, okay, that there will be a rate cut. A 3% chance. 97% chance it will stay steady. However, if you look at the next one in May, there's a 31% chance that there will be a rate cut then. Okay, so we know there are a lot of pressures right now from Trump administration and everyone to see, there are a lot of pressures to see the rates go down, right? To cut the Fed fund rate, which will then cut a lot of rates, the Treasury yield rates, and then of course there's the prime rate, which affects homes. I mean, there's so many rates, but it all really hinders on inflation. It hinders on the economic data that's coming out. And of course, getting some clarity around the tariff situation, right? That is still pending. There's still a lot of retaliation news. Like, for example, look at this. Europe retaliates against Trump's 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum. So there are still a lot of uncertainty, but this is a big step in the right direction, having inflation go down. Now, you could argue that maybe this was manipulated. Some people will say, well, this was done on purpose. You know, the numbers are fudged to make it look good. It may be, but this is what we need. This is what we need. Now, will this make Bitcoin and crypto continue forward and have a big recovery today? Well, let's see. It definitely won't hurt. And right now, the way Bitcoin and crypto is moving looks pretty good, although we're not seeing an explosion. But, hovering around 84,000 is way better than before when we were in the low 70s, right? So this is a step in the right direction. Let's see if Wall Street wakes up and realizes, well, maybe we oversold, okay, those ETFs, and it's time to buy them back and buy back the Bitcoin that we panic sold. especially, again, when there's so many good things that's still happening. This came out. I just talked about it last night. But you know what? The real Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, the one that will actually get the U.S. to buy a million of, right? This is something new, and it's going to gain support over time. I don't know if it's going to get approved immediately. Probably not by Congress, but we're seeing more and more people come to realization that Bitcoin is a good thing, and Bitcoin could actually be used to pay back the national deficit. That's how good Bitcoin is. There are a lot of people now in Washington that finally realize that Bitcoin, if you look at the charts and you look at the history, Bitcoin's performance is astronomical. And the way it's going, it could definitely make a dent, if not altogether, just pay off the deficit. So yesterday, you had a CEO from New Market Capital suggest that the U.S. should issue $2 trillion in a new type of bond called Bit bonds, and use it to purchase about $200 billion worth of Bitcoin. And again, use it, okay, to pay off the deficit. This is something that Senator Loomis has said, and Trump said himself, and many others are proposing it. Michael Saylor's proposing this too now, saying the U.S. should just buy up a whole bunch of Bitcoin. So this will probably get some time. Well, it takes some time before it's actually approved, but I think it's going to happen eventually. It just may take some time, but nevertheless, we have a Bitcoin reserve. There are others that are paying attention. When I say others, other countries. And we are going to pave the way, when it comes to establishing a set reserve that we're going to add to. And over time, it's going to prove itself, like it did for, on a smaller scale, like El Salvador and other countries. Okay. So, I mean, again, there's so many good things happening, even though all the uncertainty around tariffs and, economic data and worries about inflation, these are things that are concerning, but this is short term. Like I've been saying, short term, there's a lot of scariness, a lot of distractions, but long term, Bitcoin is still the one to HODL and DCA. Metaplanet, just like MicroStrategy, continues to buy the dip, loading up. Unlike Saylor, they decide to buy lows, right? They don't buy the highs. But they're picking up their buys. It's starting to add up significantly. 162 Bitcoin. Before, they would purchase 10 Bitcoin, 20 Bitcoin, 50 Bitcoin. Now they're purchasing almost 200 Bitcoin at a time. It's starting to add up. And Michael Saylor tweeted this yesterday. Big things are coming. Does that mean another big purchase? I guess we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But like I said, all these things are great. We got a lot of good things happening. We have a lot of ETFs pending, not on Bitcoin, on all these other crypto like XRP, Solana, Doge, and now you got Hedera and Cardano and many others, right? SEC delays the decision, but does not deny them. We know the SEC has been, making a lot of changes, mostly favorable for the crypto industry. And it's just a matter of time these ETFs get approved. And it could be big. Not just, obviously not just for Bitcoin, but for a lot of the crypto chains that are out there. Could mean billions of billions of dollars coming in, right? And then, of course, we got more favorable regulations that allows American-based projects, exchanges like Coinbase, to operate more efficiently, offer more services, and expand. Coinbase returns to India. We know India has been rocky in terms of crypto, up and down, but Coinbase, right, they are expanding. And now that SEC is loosening up its regulations, it's not just Coinbase. Kraken, and then Gemini, Crypto.com. You got all these major exchanges that's going to be operating a lot better going forward. Okay, so last thing I'll just leave with you is this. Even though, again, it does seem like Wall Street tends to dump, and maybe there's a lot of retail that's dumping as well. But just know that there will always be whales behind the scenes that are buying. Okay, I talked to MetaPlanet and Michael Saylor, but if you look at this, the whales are also picking up, adding nearly 4,900 Bitcoin in the last 6 days as retail investors panic, right? So again, those that truly believe, those that truly understand will continue to load up. They know short-term distractions, okay? They like it because this gives them opportunity to buy the dip, buy low, and ultimately help them make a lot of gains when things recover, right? So just keep that in mind when you are thinking about panic selling, or someone else panic sells, or even Wall Street panic sells. There's someone on the other end that's buying, and it's usually a whale or someone, a long-term holder that understands and will pick up cheap Bitcoin or cheap XRP or cheap Solana or cheap Sui or cheap Cardano, and they are loading up for the future. All right, guys, that is it. So let's see what happens after the market opens. Will Wall Street decide to buy back? And are we going to see Bitcoin above this trend line and go back to the mid 80s, like right around here? If we get back to like the 86 level, which is right above this trend line, that would be absolutely fantastic, giving us some momentum away again from the bottom that we formed recently at 76,000. We did finally close that gap, that's nasty CME gap. So let's see what happens, okay? Stay strong, my friends. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.